Alrighty, what's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Guys, we had another new all-time high get put in today on both QQQ and SPY ever so slightly. We got it at 725.04. All right, took it out by a little less than 20 cents there. We are likely going to be continuing from here. Weekly candle looks like it is going to expand. If you do pull back, all right, just realize, you're probably going to run back up and, take out these equal highs. Like it's probably just going to go something like this. If you do pull back, you'd probably come back to the 9 EMA. You have a little range going on here, and then you just push up. Maybe you get a little bit deeper of a pullback, but there's nothing to suggest that we're getting that pullback right now. There's really not. I've been talking about the 4-hour 21 EMA on both SPY and QQQ, and what do we have to our surprise that continues holding? The 4-hour 21 EMA. That's where we bounced off of yesterday. And yeah, we gapped up this morning, and now all of a sudden we're at a new all-time high. And the weekly candle is sitting right there at last week's high. We're likely going to be taking that out and seeing some expansion of the weekly candle. I wouldn't be surprised to see 730 this week. IWM ended up breaking out today out of this 7 to 8 point range we got right here. The measure move, we were talking about 287 to 288. Okay, I'll be right up here, 287 to 288. I do think that's also going to come this week or next week. I can't tell you exactly which, but yeah, that's the next stop. And I would not be surprised to see some. Yeah, honestly, you might go straight past there, and we might get the move to $300 here. This is quite a bit of consolidation here. It's 25 points. You could see here on the monthly, this was all just a break and retest off a previous all-time high. You rejected here. Now you flipped previous resistance into support. I think IWM is going to be, I think it's going to be making a nice move there. There is the extra analysis on IWM. There we go. Okay. DIA, it's not looking too bad. Bring the hammer off of the daily 9 EMA. Now, that being said, guys, I really don't think people should be trading. I'm just saying that we clearly have big tech moving in big ways here. Okay. Semiconductor stocks, big tech stocks. That's where the action is to be had right now. You even can see, small caps are waking up here. DIA is not moving. Okay. There are, some stocks that are in the Dow that are moving. But yeah, I don't think, and I know, you want to play some catch up. I don't think there's a reason to trade it like that. I think you might as well take a chill pill. If we're talking playing some catch up, okay. First of all, AMD's up 10% right now. What the heck is this? This is why I say get the going while the going's good. MU rocketed today. I honestly was a little butthurt over here on MU. That I ended up honestly taking off most of what I had today, but I took off about 100 grand. Right here, and if I had held the calls, that $100,000 position would have turned into 250 to 300,000, depending where I would have sold today. And I was butthurt about that. That being said, I still had a lot of MU on there, and I took off the vast majority of things today. I don't know. I told you guys, the best thing to do is just hold the dated core position. If you're, trading some calls, hold shares or a dated core position there, so you don't get shaken out and you could stomach the volatility. This is just too freaking much. It is too much. That being said, I think it's going to continue. I think we're going to get $800 here. And, this is week 3. I was expecting 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know if it's going to get 6 to 8 weeks, guys. This is going absolutely vertical, and I don't know if this monthly candle is going to get much wider here. If we get to like $750, $800, like I think that's all she's going to write for the time being. That being said, you guys could see the great reprice happen on these memory stocks, and I tried telling you ahead of time. This is something that we don't get too often, where the fundamental growth story here is actually growing faster than the technicals. And we also just keep seeing the chart set up, and you just keep, moving in that direction. It's going to keep going. I hate to say it right now. Okay. I would have liked it to pull back, tomorrow. I don't think it's going to do so, honestly. I think We might be getting 680 tomorrow. We might. Some fucking nuts shit over here. Okay, I will hit this for us.
Easy.
All right. I hope you guys made a lot of freaking money along this run. And I'm just telling you, I think this is only like half of it. I think it's going to keep going. It's going to blow my mind. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow all of our minds, guys. But this is why I was saying, just try not get shaken out. No financial advice will be given here on the channel, but it's exactly it. People are going to, including myself. Okay. This is what I usually do on these massive winners here. Is I'll take myself out of it if it's just getting too crazy and this thing's getting fucking nuts. That being said, I'm still holding. I only got 6 calls left. The 618 600s, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna hold these and actually try and hold for my 700 to 800 target range there. And there's that. But hey, congratulations if you held throughout this rally here. This is in 3 sessions here. You went, I mean, including tomorrow, and if we get 680, this is going to be 170 points there. But 140 points, 3 sessions there, 27% move up. This is the reprice of memory stocks. It's fucking nuts. I honestly have never caught in like a whole move like this. It's just getting fucking nuts. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. This is literally the one stock I've been absolutely pounding the table on ever since we were really right over here. I told you guys we were getting ready for this opportunity. We had the false breakout over here, okay? And then we just waited and this thing set up and, we kind of knew that whenever it comes, it's just chance at life-changing money. It's chance at just making absolute shit ton of money here along the rally. Because people aren't going to think it's going to work like it went on the last 2 runs. Guys, this has worked out exactly the same as the last 2 runs. You haven't tested the 9 EMA yet. You just keep bouncing off the 5 EMA. That's literally what you had over here. Okay? And then I think we're in this stage right here where we're going to go sideways for like a week to a week and a half. So I hope you do. But I think, logically, we also are probably right there. Okay? But this run right over here, it just kept going. You did get 9 EMA tests, but, it just kept freaking going. It's shallow pullbacks going to keep going. From here, does it go straight to 700? I really don't know. Okay, I'm sorry we're talking about it at the beginning of the video. Normally I wait for individual tickers, but this is crazy. It's absolute insanity. And honestly, I know there's got to be a shit ton of people on this channel following along with our analysis that had to have caught this and just made a shit ton of money. So we're going to talk about it here. We're either looking for something like this. Okay. It could be volatile, dude. This thing could go a little freaking nuts. Now, I really do think we're going to keep the shallow pullbacks, but we're, 15% away from the 5 EMA. So, the shallow pullback might actually be pretty scary for the time being. That being said, I think these things are still going to keep driving higher. I really do. I really do. But, I'll definitely, just say, I put it on your radar here in this range. I definitely put it on your radar here when we broke out. I definitely pounded the absolute table over here on it. This is honestly, this is most of the move I was looking for. I do think it's going to keep going there. I do. I think the market's finally opening up to the idea we've been talking about this thing is... it doesn't make sense to me for, every other, component of the AI, trade there to not be cyclical, but this is somehow cyclical. It just doesn't really make sense to me. And I think S&DK earnings just really woke up everyone to that idea. Okay. But yeah, AMD, guys, is now up 11% in the after hours there. If you want to talk about some catch up, QCOM right over here. I think QCOM is probably going to be playing some catch up. This is a chip name here that really has not moved. I'm not going to say it's like entirely the CPU trade here because, we see what's taking place here with AMD. We got ARM earnings as well. I think those are actually going on tomorrow. Okay, we got ARM earnings tomorrow, so we'll be paying attention to those. But real talk, guys, it hasn't moved. Okay, it really has not. Like every other chip name is at all-time highs. You even got this one reporting, I believe. They just did today as well. And it's still not looking terrible. That being said, you're gonna now want to get back over $18. But most of these guys, they're just cooling off at all-time highs. They're just chilling up there. Okay, this guy is nowhere close. Well, it's on its way. It's on its way. I don't know if it's gonna go straight up to all-time highs, but look at this monthly over here. This tells me that this is probably about to play some catch up with these other guys. I think that's it's just waking up to the idea here. So I wouldn't be surprised if the market decides to start running with this one right over here. That being said, you clearly got leaders right now, and AMD is him, clear as day. I don't know if this thing's going to top out right after earnings here. I imagine we will get a whole bunch of consolidation, but I won't be surprised to see some shit like this where you do end up consolidating, push up, pull back into the 5 EMA, the 9 EMA there, and that's that. This is just, it's a crazy market, but it does, bring me to a point I want to make here that, guess what? I've been making like every video. Why are people trying to short this uptrend? Why are they trying to do it? I just saw something on Twitter where this guy's extremely depressed because after 6 years of trading greatly in this market, he decided to take out a short, somehow lost half of his portfolio there, all of his money. And now he's sad about it. And it sounds like he's just going to keep holding it. I'm going to be honest, guys. I've been saying it's going to be like a 1 week pullback and then you go up. And, they haven't even given you that. Like, dips are just going to remain shallow. I don't know why people are really so concentrated on trying to catch this. I point out there are relative strength names moving every single day with or without what the market wants to do, That being said, Tesla was definitely setting up. So, this thing, it got slammed today from the 200 DMA, right over there. Closed out with a bearish engulfing candlestick. But this is, just kind of bringing to that point, okay? There are strength names, and this is not something that's chilling at all-time highs, whereas AMD just wants to keep going. The market, it's very clearly a massive, I think it's the most insane rally anybody really has seen in the last 20 years. That being said, it's insanely driven by the semiconductor stocks and some of these big tech names. Mag 7 stocks, they're not exactly participating yet, but I did point out the other day in our video that this is definitely just getting ready for a new breakout to new all-time highs. It's going to come over the next 1 to 2 months. What happens if these guys join the rally? I don't know why people are trying to short this rally. Any move down, like the surprises in a trend are going to be in the direction of the trend. Why are people trying to short? The surprises are going to be to the upside. It's a guarantee. Even when you get that pullback, the surprises, it's going to shoot right back up impulsively there to highs. And, anybody who's still in their shorts, huge boom, you lose. So what's the fucking point of waiting for this quote unquote big short? I just keep seeing dumb shit about this on Twitter and it makes no sense to me. It's genuinely a crazy market here where you can make money. That being said, like, it is concentrated. Okay, I'm not going to deny there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we definitely knew where to look, at least on MU over here. This is freaking nuts. It's nuts. I didn't catch AMD. I pointed out AMD, and I really wanted to catch one of these guys. MU has not been nearly as nuts as AMD. I'm sure some of y'all made crazy money on AMD. That being said, we got the next best thing. It's fine. You know what? You know what? Some of these went ballistic. I pointed them all out, okay? I always point these things out. Does not mean I'm taking every single one here. Who knows if this thing is really just going to keep skyrocketing here. You don't know, okay? But until these things do end up breaking down, they break the daily 21 EMA. I mean, why are you trying to short them? And that's the same logic there for why the heck are people trying to short the indices, okay? It's not worth it. You're probably going to come down to the 21 EMA. That's the worst you'd get, and then you shoot right back up. Why do you want to short for a 2-day window here when longs work for 2 to 3 weeks? And then 2-day window shorts work, and then, they work again for 2 weeks. It's 1 week, and then I'm just saying. It's illogical. It makes no sense. But I see people doing it, and it makes no sense. So don't do it. All right, let's go over some levels here, guys. We'll go over the Mag 7 stocks, and then we'll talk about a few trade ideas. Some names I think are setting up / starting to move. Definitely starting to move. There's one that we've been talking about. I honestly got really sick of being asked about it, and I made a deal about it last week, and now it's shooting up. And this is what I was trying to tell people is, I can't control what the market wants to do. It's going to move whenever the heck it wants to move. So we're not going to talk about it when it's sitting there doing absolutely nothing. All right, but boom, now it's clearly getting the move we were talking about. This is it. All right, it's breaking over all the structure you have over here. This thing's on its way to all-time highs. Okay, I can't tell you if it's just going to keep shooting straight up, but I will tell you the daily RSI. I do think it's going to keep shooting straight up. I can't guarantee it though. But yeah, daily RSI, you know, when this thing is trending, it stays overbought and these dips remain shallow. And, you know, we're talking the 5 EMA, sometimes the 9 EMA, but most of the time it's just the 5 EMA before it keeps going up. So I'm expecting this thing to make new all-time highs, and then I think it's going to keep pushing. I've been waiting for this move for quite some time over here on Cypher. And yeah, well, it had me in the first half there. Yeah, this thing, I'm telling you, this ain't, you think this is the whole move? No, this is a massive, what, 6-month base here? Yeah. You know, it's 5 to 6 months there. This should be making a big move back up to all-time highs. Look at that monthly. Okay. See how that monthly candle, you wicked off it, but you did test that previous high right there. Okay. So you got an equal high. You know what that makes me think of? NVIDIA. Okay. Honestly, NVIDIA is still probably going to make it up to new all-time highs. Take that out, and that'll be that. You know, I'm telling you, the MAGS ETF here, it's got NVIDIA, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla in it. Guess what? It wants to move up. That's that. Okay. Google at new all-time highs. Amazon at new all-time highs. Microsoft still is not participating. Okay. I'm just saying that thing says as a whole, these are going to be moving up. And I'm thinking Apple's going to be leading the way. All right. NVIDIA is going to play some catch up. Amazon's probably finally going to have its Google moment where it doesn't return back down into here and it just keeps kind of grinding higher. And Google's an absolute monster. We don't have to talk about Meta. I don't really think people should be touching Meta. All right. That's that. Let's go over some levels. We kind of just talked about all the Mag 7 stocks there, but let's quickly go over the levels here on SPY and QQQ. On the upside, we're talking 724.87 above there, 730. On the downside, we're talking today's low 721.49. Underneath 721.49, we're talking 715.63, 712.39. All right, moving over to QQQ. I don't even want to talk about the upside, man. We got 685, 690, $700. Are we really going straight to $700? I still don't think so. And I will also point out you got a little gap left behind there. It just looks a little funky to me. It really does. I do think we probably will pull back. It's not a guarantee, though. It's really not. But I do think. And it doesn't mean freaking short it for the pullback, because this is, again, the most aggressive rally you've seen since 2003. It's at new all-time highs. Okay? Whatever the first pullback is, it guaranteed gets bought. I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's just how these things typically work. You know, you see new all-time highs, you kept going. First pullback gets bought. You don't have to, I'm just saying, okay? You know, in terms of, you know, how you really should be approaching this. No financial advice, okay? And like, I'm just, first of all, you're focused on longs. Second of all, you're riding up. You got sides. You're taking it off. Okay, you're continuously putting on some new trades. I follow along with relative strength names, individual names that I point out at the end of each video. Okay, if you're not new here, you know that. You know, but real talk, you got size. When it's getting extended and iffy, maybe you start loosening it up a little bit, okay? Maybe you take some size off, and then, oh, market pulls back. Instead of trying to short for the god darn stupid pullback there, that's when you add on the size again. Like, that's it. That's how you trade the uptrend. That's how it's always been. That's how it always will be. You don't freaking try and short for that. I saw someone I follow today talk about, you know, I'm waiting to open a swing put position. What the heck are you talking about? You want to talk about you have market experience, and then you want to say you're a swing put position? Why are you trying to pinpoint the exact time the market's going to pull back when it's gone vertical for a month and a half now? Makes no sense to me. It's a stupid standpoint. It's a stupid thought process. Makes no sense. But I'm not here to judge what other people want to do with their money. Do whatever the heck you want to do. All right. But I am going to tell you, this market's going to keep going against you. And when it's going to give you a little bit of money there, when it pulls back, it's going to go right back up after. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. All right. On the downside, we're talking 670, 673. That's a little gap left over from Monday's session there. 673.73, 668.90, and 664.51. Like, look how extended, like, you're going to pull back and just find buyers in the moving averages. Why are people thinking it's not going to be it wouldn't be anything different, you know? Even if it's going to have a larger move down, you're going to get that. But here's the thing, like, the people trying to short for the pullback, I don't even think they're going to be expecting that. They really they're so fixated on it in their mind that this, you know. Now, that being said, I've been really fixated on something, and it's been MU. I really hope this thing wants to pull back a little bit so I can add back quite a bit. you know, I had plans here, and honestly, I'm telling you, this was most of the move I had in mind. Like, these are crazy fucking moves. Okay, crazy numbers here going into this stock. Look at the market cap. You guys can't see it. I could see it. $720 billion. Crazy numbers going into this thing. Okay. That being said, we've seen these things before, and you know, AMD after it's was up 15%. It's up 12% right now. Okay, so it's $580 billion market cap, guys. That's also going to be at like near 640, 650 tomorrow. You know, like these are crazy numbers. You know, I'm telling you, you could see it in the chart where capital wants to flow in. This is like literally just so much capital flowing into these names. It's like they completely missed the cycle and then bam, they're trying to price in all at once. I'm just craziness. And is it going to keep going? I don't know. You know, from how I'm understanding it, you know, I'm just listening to all the earnings calls that I think matter, and they all are kind of just confirming the story, and I think it's just going to keep going. That's my honest opinion. Call it a bubble. I don't care. But yeah, honestly, like I'm pretty positive money is just going to keep flowing into this whole area, and yeah, we'll see how this all goes. We'll see how it goes. It's going to cool off at some point, but it's clearly not cooling off just yet. If you gap up like this, you get some massive sell off. It might be something like that, and then it consolidates, and then it pushes up. Then we kind of know it's not over. At some point, this thing will roll over. I just can't. There's no point in trying to pinpoint it. That's all. All right. I'll stop going back and forth about it. Don't short the rally. Do whatever you want. All right. But yeah, as far as the Mag 7 stocks goes, we're not going to talk about Meta. We told you we wouldn't be talking about that for quite some time here. Google was up quite a bit here in the after hours, starting to cool off. I really do think this is extended at this point of the weekly, and it's likely we just build out some sideways action for a few weeks, in my personal opinion. Maybe it's going to keep going because crazy market, but I just think that's the probable scenario there. Amazon is starting to pull back 9 EMA. That's what I'm looking for. It's around 264.50 right now. That is that. Okay. Microsoft still right on the daily 21. This is 4 sessions in a row that you are finding buyers right around there. Let's see if it wants to pivot up off of that. If you want to send an alert, you could do so for 420.78. If you take out 420.78, solid shot. It's on its way up, back up there, but it's still finding the weakness right now. Nvidia still, it's hanging up for dear life. It's not still finding buyers. You got a daily close. It's the first close in 4 sessions here after testing the 21, where we are closing underneath. Okay. Next stop, 193.63, 188.88. You have the weekly 9 EMA at 192. So that's personally what I was saying. If we don't hold the 21 EMA, I do think we'll test the 9 EMA here on the weekly. That's what I'm expecting. 192. 193.60. We'll say 190 to 193.63. That's what we're looking for next on NVIDIA. Apple, guys, big pop back up today off of the 5 EMA. You found buyers there yesterday. Hey, if you want to gap down and then take out today's high at 284.57 tomorrow, I think you probably run straight up to all-time highs. You're very close to it. I know that's where it wants to go. It's just a question of, is it? I mean, honestly, like, let's just mark out what happened over here. I already know what happened. You rejected right there. I don't think it's going to reject after all this consolidation. All right. But I did look back, and you definitely have your fair share of, pretty convincing looking, rejections where you build out quite a bit and you reject, and boom, comes all the way into the weekly 21. Do I think that's going to happen? I do not. I think, we also have a specific kind of market here that's moving a certain kind of way. I highly doubt Apple is going to pull all the way back down here and, come back to 260 to 270. 260 to 265. Nah, honestly, I don't think it's coming to 270 either. I don't. It's, it just wouldn't make all that much sense. Likely you continue pushing here and you get something like this. At some point, this will go sideways for 1 to 2 weeks. All right. Or maybe it's going to be 1 to 3 weeks. All right. But yeah, I'm going to put a target 310 to 320. That's going to be our target range after we break out over 288.62. How some of these other names in the market are moving right now, I would not be surprised to see Apple just kind of take that out. And we're talking by next week or the week after, really be up here at, 310. we'll see about it. You know, on the monthly here, it definitely tells you, like, if you have the patience, you know, if you're willing to buy, you know, leaps, if you're willing to buy contracts with time or play with shares, you know, just look at this. This is a massive range here. You know, that's 18%, 40 points right there. That's quite a bit. You know, it's 45, but we'll say 40. Look at this, 330. Okay. That's a lot. That's a ways away. Current price is 282. So keep it on the radar. All right. This is a Mag 7 stock that really has not, you know, moved for quite some time. And it is clear as day telling you it wants to move. All right. Capital is clearly flowing back into this thing. And if it gets back to highs, probably entering price discovery mode. And we're going to be carried on for the next, 4 to 6 weeks. We'll say 3 to 6 weeks to play it safe. Okay. And yeah, Tesla guys rejected the 200 DMA at 402. I said over 397.82. We have the 200 DMA, and then we have 409.28. We definitely did not get past that 200 DMA there. We got slammed down from there. And while I do think Tesla is still going to be moving up, they did completely flip the weekly candlestick, and I do think we have risk of testing 382.78 here. And yeah, maybe this is a move later in the week or next week, and we'll see what happens here. I still do think there is a move up loading right here. Okay, you just really have to clear the 200 DMA, which means you got to get over 409.28. If you get over 409.28, good things. You're under there, bad things. Okay, I'm personally now just going to leave Tesla alone until we get over there. Okay, after something like this, I'm just literally going to play it safe. I told y'all, this is the easy piece of the pie here. I see to catch. I'm now definitely confirming it to myself what I was telling you guys. It's going to be way easier to just try and catch that. And I think, you know, no financial advice will be given on this channel, but that is the move, in my personal opinion. All right. As far as individual tickers go, guys, AMD, holy sweet baby Jesus, MU's up 3.4%. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. I'm telling you, it's freaking nuts what's going on, man. It's nuts. I hope we get mean reversion. I do. And I'm sure so many other people. This is why I was telling you guys, you don't have to do anything, but it's worth holding a core position that you're just planning on holding. You know, these cons got so deep in the money. They're the 500s. You know, I still got 600s, but yeah, you know, this was the whole intention. Get them deep into the money so they trade like shares, and then you could just hold for the whole move. At least my target range, 700, 800 bucks. But this is getting freaking nuts. But the fact that, look at the hourly over here, you know, I figured they're probably going to gap it up or run it tomorrow. You know, it's coiled up over here. They're probably going to gap it up and run it tomorrow. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see 680, 690. And at that point, are they just going to bring it 700 because you're that close? I don't know. But yeah, next 5 EMA test, I think it's going to bring quite a bit of consolidation, probably like a week to a week and a half of straight consolidation. That's what I'm going to be expecting. This week over here is now going to be over 20%. So pretty nuts move. But yeah, AMD is up 12% in the after hours there off of earnings. Okay. Nuts move. Absolute nuts move over here. You have 400 bucks. You're probably going to carry these other ones, the other CPU stocks that are running with it right now. INTC at 113. Nuts. Okay. Absolutely nuts. I would not be chasing this thing up here. Let it cool off. That being said, the fact that, you know, it's ran this much and now it's still going means the market might even, the reprice we were just talking about, you know, I mean, I was talking about on memory stocks, but this is what I'm seeing, you know, with certain names. It's like the market feels they're like, oh, I missed the whole cycle. Let me just, let's everyone get in all at once. You know, it's just a constant, let's price this in. And the fact that you ran so heavily into it, you're so overbought going into it, and it's gapping up. As long as this thing doesn't really completely fill the gap here, even if it slams intraday, I think they're just going to consolidate it, and you might go sideways before another move up. Doesn't mean you go much further up, but you know there would be no sign of seller stepping in. So I'm just going to say on these names, INTC, you know, you have Marble. They don't have to stop right now. They don't. So you don't have to short them. It doesn't mean you have to be long them. There are going to be other names that aren't super extended. And I'll point those out here on this channel. But, oh, they're going nuts right now. They're going ape shit. Look at this. Look where I have all my alerts, dude. They couldn't do this. Imagine they did these style moves when I had, 50 of the 1150 contracts right down here. Imagine they now give you, what is today's move? 130 points. They gave, never mind. They gave me more than more than that day. But oh my god, I didn't think it was going to go straight to $1,500. It's at 1,500 schmeckles. I mean, it's 40 points off, but do we really think it's not going there? QCOM, hidden alert. Oh, look at that. Oh, we're going to 190. Look at that. Yeah, so QCOM over here, guys. I think it's going to probably play some catch up. Monthly chart looks explosive. I don't know. If it's time to go, then this is just going to stay overbought like we see on AMD. Okay? If it's not time to go, then it does not stay overbought. But I am pretty sure this is going to start playing some catch up here. You had a really big move off of the 9 EMA today. Okay, about 13% there. I'm expecting continuation here. And again, we should see pretty quick here. Is it being traded like these other ones? They're going nuts. Something like Marvel, all right, AMD, INTC. They're all going nuts and they just stay overbought. So the question is, are they about to do the same shit with QCOM? I think they might. So I'm paying attention and I'm in this. And I think it's going to be some nice ones. That being said, this has definitely been the laggard. And, we talk about relative strength. It's definitely moving nice. But I'm not going to say it's a leader by any means. We can clearly see there are some leading stocks in this market here. Yeah, these are the ones that the market just wants to keep throwing money into. So we'll see about it. Okay, but that's QCOM. Potential catch-up player right there. Definitely looks good in higher time frames. And whether this thing wants to continue moving right now, I think it is. Weekly candle just looks like it's probably going to get larger. Monthly over here definitely looks like it's going to get larger. You're right at the previous month's high after putting a lower wick. I would expect this to make a decent move this month. It doesn't mean it has to skyrocket this week. Don't think that's what that means. But yeah, over the next few weeks, I do think all-time high is probably incoming. Oracle over here, guys. Weekly cloud. Flipping green. It is about to do so either this week or next week. Would not be surprised to see the break over 189.18 this week. Above 189.18, you have nothing until 207.80. All right, which has the 200 DMA right above around 212. Cypher, sweet baby Jesus, which, by the way, I don't know. I don't think I've heard someone else say sweet baby Jesus. Someone tweeted sweet baby Jesus today, and I'm pretty positive they're just watching my videos. I've never heard another person say that. Unless they're talking to me and I'm just rubbing off on them. So I don't know. I think some large Twitter guy is he's watching my videos. Never mind. There's a lot of them watching my videos. I'm pretty positive, but yeah, this is kind of proof in my eyes that yes, someone is out there watching these videos here. We got nice stuff. Sweet baby Jesus is right. Damn right. But Cypher over here, guys, it just had a big pop. I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue tomorrow, but if it does, I expect it to cool off the next day. And I think the 5 EMA, I think it plays some catch up. The 5 EMA either goes sideways or we'll pull back into it. I'm watching for that. Okay. But I do think Cypher is probably, you're over here and you just did a whole lot of consolidation. So if you think this has to stop right now, it doesn't. This is after earnings, it's making this move. The fact that it did happen after earnings, I mean, that's just all the better. Okay, it had a chance to get slammed. It did the exact opposite. Investor capital is flowing back into this thing. I think they're about to finally let it fly. So it's going to be one of our top watches over the coming weeks here. We know data center stocks are starting to wake up. We know APLD over here, the weekly and monthly, another big mover today. They look like a massive move is on the horizon here. I just know they're pretty frustrating. At least the last rally here. Look at the daily. You kind of just got to hold your swing through it and just, hey, you got to stomach the volatility because there are definitely weeks here, 1 to 2 weeks where it barely moves. That being said, this looks explosive. This is a massive range here. I mean, 20 points. Okay. Half of the price is in this range. Well, we're talking 60 points, $60. All right. That would be your target if you can break over 42.27. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. But honestly, I don't doubt it. I do think, I mean, regardless, I've been seeing this thing set up like this for quite some time. I've known at some point it was going to trigger a larger move. I just didn't think they were going to wait to send all of them at once. You got Iron going, you have Cypher going, you have NBiz with another big move up today. Okay. Well, not another big move up, but you gapped down. You made it back up to the highs. The hourly and the 4 hour over here on NBiz make me think this thing is probably just setting up for another little leg here. So I am expecting another move up tomorrow. And yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing run straight to 190 and then $200. That's where I got my alert up there. Might happen before earnings. Okay, that's NBiz. But yeah, Cypher, APLD, NBiz, they're honestly all looking stellar here. And especially Cypher and APLD, they haven't actually moved yet, especially Cypher. Okay, CIFR. And then you got Iron over here. You do have earnings Thursday after the bell. Okay. But it did break out the new high here, and as long as, I mean, Cypher didn't die off earnings. We'll see what happens with Iron, but I don't think they're going to say anything crazy. I'm just saying, I would have imagined Cypher here would be the one to not do well off of earnings, not Iron. But hey, we'll see what happens. I just see a bunch of these monthly and weekly charts on the data center stocks that are just looking crazy. And then we have these earnings. And as long as we get past the earnings season here, you're good for them. Okay. Like CRWV is another one. It has earnings after Thursday's close there. It's looking stellar. You know, you just got to get past earnings. And that's the monkey wrench in the mix. Okay. So yeah, data center stocks, guys, they're really popping. MP, guys, looks like, honestly, this weekly candle is probably going to expand. If you can take out 69.45, 69.43 there, I mean, you have earnings, so that's the thing, okay? It looks good. You have earnings. I don't know what's going to happen off of earnings. You haven't done a whole lot of anything for quite some time off these earnings. So we're going to really have to just see what happens. But, you know, as far as the chart goes, yeah, you're basing out above, you know, previous high rate over here. It doesn't look bad. Above 69.43, you have 72.93, and then 79 is the 0.618 fib. This just, again, with these big old bases here, the weekly and monthly charts, they just tell me we got some massive moves on some of these names on the horizon. Okay, so that's MP over here. Speaking of another rare earth name, okay, not reporting earnings this week. USAR does not look bad over here on the daily. And I just want to point out the weekly, you got some potential here on this big weekly candle right over here. Okay, it was a 50% move up there. You can see you do have this little 11% lower wick there. Well, that's only 10%. And you have this on this big ass move right here, 73%. You have a 14% lower wick. So honestly, I'm open to this thing having a big move up. Now let's take this week, by the way, this week. It's not a guarantee. Do not take it as that. That's not how that works. People think things are a guarantee in trading. They're not. Okay. That being said, we could do our research and our quote unquote due diligence to set ourselves up for success. Okay. And yeah, so over here, you could see that this happened Thursday and Friday where the big moves up. And then on this week as well, you have Thursday and Friday where the big moves up. So I don't think it's going to move crazy tomorrow, but I'm watching it Thursday and Friday for a move up on USAR. Okay. And then next one I'm going to point out is CrowdStrike. I did point out the breakout yesterday there. You did go a total of about 13 points above there today. I'm looking for 500 plus. You just broke out from a range of 35 points there. Over there, the measure move brings you to about 500 bucks. I also see the weekly cloud just flipped green over there, and that's originally what put this on my radar there. I saw that, you know, happening, and we were basing out over here, and then you have this big base. You got a little base at the top end of this big base, okay, 3.5 months there. And yeah, I am looking for higher prices this week. That being said, I did see the 4-hour RSI, you know, got extended there. I still do think it's kind of just going to keep trekking higher. That's the plan over here. It was either going to have one big move, or we are going to see, you know, just some consecutive green candles back to back to back there. That is what I'm expecting. So yeah, I do think this weekly candle is going to expand. I'm personally looking for 500 bucks this week. I could be wrong on it, but that is the goal there. Okay. And I just want to point out Circle, guys. It did get a pop to start the week. It's pulling back today. If this thing can gap up and then take out 121.40, I think it's going to push into end of week. I think it does continue and has some nice moves. So that's one I am paying attention to. TSM, guys, this is right off the 9 EMA. It's bounced off the 9 EMA overnight for 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to call this 5. All right, where you just keep bouncing off the 5 EMA. We're now on, well, the 9 EMA. We're now on back on the 9 EMA. You are starting to push in the overnight session, in the after hours there. I can't guarantee it, but yeah, if you do take out 407.70, I'm pretty sure you go straight here and then 430 to 440. You really got to clear 407.70 at this point. Okay, you want to get through all this consolidation, just kind of move on to that next leg. And then at that point, you're looking for something like that. Looking for one big pop or, a few days of, upside action there. Regardless, we just broke out from this range over here. Okay, and it's a wide one. Okay, this could take us way higher. And we're really just looking to leave this area and get acceptance in price discovery. And that's that. I'll point out ASML here. Broke this downtrend today. I really want to see it clear 1480, and then I know it's likely heading back up to highs. And then I think we're probably going to get a decent trending move once we bring it up to highs, because we have been consolidating for 3.5 months. It honestly reminds me a lot of BE over here that I pounded the table on, and then I did not trade it. I did somewhere in this mess, but yeah, this thing went freaking nuts after about 3 months of consolidation. Give me the same vibe. Point out a net over here. It was consolidating at highs. It fell off a cliff. Leave this guy alone. Okay, just letting you know. Just thought I'd give a little update there. I never tell anybody, to long or short or do anything into earnings. Do not trade earnings. Why? Because they are a complete, it's a monkey wrench into the mix, I call it, and all that means is it's a random occurrence. You don't know what's going to happen and you can't control it. So why are you going to try and, attempt to trade it? Like AMD, I know it's popping. I know. Okay. Oh my God, it's up 15%. What the flipping flopping over here? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's nuts. It's at 407. Guys, crazy freaking market we're trading in. This is why I was saying get the going while the going's good. This is not normal. It's not. Congratulations, people riding this thing up. I have not rode AMD up, but I am jealous if you have, because this is nuts. I thought my MU was a big accomplishment. Look at AMD, dude. Oh my God. All right, guys, that's gonna we're gonna close out the video with this. I'm flabbergasted by what's happening in this market right now, and so should you guys be. And it should kind of just confirm what I was talking about earlier, guys. You don't need to be trying to short for that. That it's going to be a little pullback at the end of the day. This market clearly wants to be driven higher, and whenever that does happen, like, it's not something that, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to come out of nowhere. I really don't. Normally we see exhaustion candlestick. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Normally, like, look at QQ. We're at highs right now. Close out on a bullish manner. We're just continuing to gap up. You're like, oh, we have to fill all these gaps. We never had to fill all these gaps. And now we keep just printing gaps. And that's that. We don't have to, we don't have to see anything crazy. We really don't. I don't know why people are trying it. I really don't. Let's see, daily RSI. I mean, look, it gets overbought. It stays overbought. Look, it got overbought here and it didn't come down for a month. Well, it got overbought here, and it has not been a month. It's been 3 weeks. All right, we can keep going up until like the May 15 OPEX. That's what's possible here. And at that point, maybe we get $700. Oh, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. I'm watching CRML over here. You got to break above 14.5 though, 14.51. All right, guys. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. I will catch y'all in the next one. If you want to come trade with me, that link is down below. I'm live every day. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this market. People say it's easy to be making money in this market. I'm just saying it's kind of a straight bid up right now, and I'm seeing plenty of frustration on my Twitter feed and now I'm just saying, now that I'm feeling the heat Okay, because I took out most of my MU, and that's honest. That was most of my size in this market right now. I still got some shares, but yeah, this thing might just keep going at 700, man. I don't know. Either way, I hope you guys are having a good time. Don't get too frustrated if things are if you take things off and they're just going to keep rocketing. It's not a normal occurrence. The fact that you caught most of it, be happy about it. If it pulls back at this point, you know, it doesn't even have to be most of it. This thing might just keep going. We don't know when it's going to stop. I did say 6 to 8 weeks. I just didn't think one of the weeks was going to be this. If I'm going to be accurate, you know, if I'm going to be correct from what I was first saying, it's going to blow people's minds for 6 to 8 weeks. This is week number 3, which is why, you know, if we have this crazy week and then another crazy week next week, and let's just say we get $800, like at that point, no. I'm going to say we're probably closer to the end and we should not be trying to push it. But hey, all right, it's going to do what it wants to do. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your evening, and I will catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.